All right, what's up, guys? Let me turn that down. All right, so we're gonna talk today about how to choose the best nutrition plan for you. Can you see me when I'm standing way over here? By the way? So real quick, guys, I'm gonna give you three options. We're gonna keep this easy when I'm over here. It's just me. Okay. Sorry. So we're gonna have three options, right? And again, the reason why we're shooting this video is because you have to understand there's more than one way other than 2 plus 2 to make 4. And there is no one or perfect nutrition plan. There's lots of different ways to approach nutrition. I mean, you have if it fits your macros, the paleo diet, the Atkins diet, the ketogenic diet, the eat whatever the heck you want diet, right? There's intermittent fasting. There's the world's simplest diet, which is what we're going to talk about today too. Anyways, guys, so the best diet, the best nutrition plan, right? Not diet, excuse me. We don't believe in diets. We're going to talk about a nutrition plan, nutritiously dense food, right? Now, as far as moving forward in this conversation, we do want to point out that we are not talking about what is the healthiest nutrition plan. We're talking about which nutrition plan is best for you to reach your fitness goals. Okay? Now, in particular, the majority of people who are going to be watching this video, the fitness goal is to reduce body fat percentage and maybe put on some lean muscle mass, right? So, with that being said, we are concerned with calorie deficit, right? We want to keep carbohydrates relatively low, and we do want to have at least moderate to high protein for the two reasons just mentioned before. So keep that in mind as we go on in this conversation. So now, over the years of being a fitness professional, personal trainer, and making my own major personal transformation, guys, I've learned that there's three different options, three different ways, basically, to approach nutrition. We're gonna break those down for you. So the idea is to pick the one that suits you best. Now, not necessarily which one is the healthiest one, right? Because that's subjective, I guess. Because you can read a certain study that says this nutritional approach is very healthy, blah blah blah, or that it's unhealthy for these reasons, and a different study shows this, and it can get very confusing, you guys. I understand. I've been there, but you have to understand. You can find evidence. I could show you studies that say water is bad, right? So what you want to find out is a nutrition plan that works for you with your schedule, that is so convenient and rewarding for you, your lifestyle, your family, that contributes to your nutritional or to your fitness goals, right? That's the best nutrition plan. Okay, so we're gonna dive right in. Now, number one, okay, this is the most common way that we do nutrition plans for people online and for people I've trained in person, and it's a physical, okay, nutrition plan. I mean, anyways, you get what I mean. So nutrition plan, right, where it's okay, it's a written out plan that literally tells you exactly. You're gonna have 1 cup of rice on Monday with chicken and broccoli, and this amount of sweet potatoes, and this much tuna, and this amount of carrots with this much quinoa, etc. And it's very detailed. It's specifically detailed, like how much of what, how much weight, or how much measuring to use, and it's very specific. Okay, and it tells you what to eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. Okay? Well, that meal plan, that approach works really well because it spells everything out for you. It tells you exactly what to eat and how much of what to eat. All you have to do is follow the plan, right? So that approach to a nutrition plan works really, really well. However, okay, you have to be the type of person. You have to have the personality. You have to be the type of human being that can adhere to this. If you're the type of person where you're like, you know what? You can give me the list all you want. Like you can write that down for me. Give me the calories, the macronutrients, etc. But the truth is, I'm probably not gonna like read that every day and adhere to it and be strict. You know, some people that works really, really well for. Other people, the truth is, this approach seems so tedious and they're gonna lose the paper or they're gonna forget and they're just gonna mess it up or they're not gonna shop in advance to make sure they have all the ingredients and then and they're so although this is highly effective, if you're not the type of person that knows and the truth is if you're watching this, you know you better than anyone else, right? You've lived with you your whole life. So you know your personality. You know if this would work well for you or if not. And if you're the type of person, right, that can adhere to a written out, structured, very detailed protocol, then this is one of the best ways to go. Okay? But like I said, if you know that you're not that person that can stick to that, or you're probably gonna fail or cheat at it, then bad approach. Let's talk about the next one. Uh-oh. No battery. Okay. Number 2. Now this approach goes along the lines of if it fits your macros, or I call this my fitness pal. This is an app. So if it fits your macros, if it fits your macros, IIFYM means, well, your macronutrients are, I need X amount of overall calories, I need this much protein, I need this many carbs, and I need this much fat. Well, you can eat whatever you want as long as you hit those specific numbers, okay? You have to hit your specific protein, your specific fat, carbs, and your calories. The thing here is, where this is very restricted, this list, right here, you can literally have whatever you want, as long as you hit these numbers. Now this works really well for the person who can use their phone, who can take their cell phone, and be very meticulous about, I'm opening up MyFitnessPal, it's a free app, okay? About everything they eat, they're gonna click this button, boom, and they're gonna add every single thing, boom, they're gonna search, scan, and add their food. Or even worse, they're gonna write it down physically on a piece of paper themselves, which is way more tedious, so definitely use the app if this is your approach. Now this works, because the truth is, if you wanna lose body fat, you gotta be at a calorie deficit. Well, you don't know if you're gonna be at a calorie deficit unless you're following a plan that puts you in one, or unless you stick to a program and track your calories and make sure that you're staying under your calorie restriction, okay? And then, of course, if you're trying to maintain muscle mass, if you're trying to work out, which people who are watching this are, guys, then you're gonna wanna meet your protein, your fat, and your carb macronutrients as well. So, as you can see, as the step number 2, or option number 2 gives you tons of variety, lots of freedom, you have to be personally accountable for tracking and meeting the numbers in which that are prescribed to you from your trainer or your coach, right, or me, right? So it works really well, but here's the thing. If you know that you're not the type of person who will actually poke everything in on their phone, if you think, man, you know what, that sounds great, I love the sound of a lot of convenience, I love unlimited options, this list sounds terrible, so I think I'm gonna go with this one. But oh wait, if you're the type of person where you're like, you know what, I'll probably cheat. I'll probably cheat on that. I'll probably fail at actually poking everything in, right? And that sounds tedious to me. Like I just know, like, man, that's not something I'm gonna be able to stick to. Well, then, guys, that's a terrible approach. Okay, so 1 works good, 2 works good. So if neither of those, well then what? Well then what's your option? Here's option number 3. Just want to make sure we're still shooting here. What does it say? 20%. Oops. Okay. Battery's dying, so I gotta be quick. Okay, so option number 3. I call this one the world's easiest nutrition plan. Okay, now I have never ever had a personal training client, online client, or anyone I've given this advice to on number 3 who has not had outstanding, ridiculous, and rapid results. Okay, but for this one, I'm gonna have to erase the board, so make sure we understand. Option number 1 is you have a physical written out nutrition plan that says this is what you eat on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This is what you have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks, and it's weighed out for you, and it's very meticulous and awesome. Stick to it, you get results. Number 2 is you can have anything you want, stick to these numbers, you'll get results, but you have to make sure you track everything you eat, okay? Boom. Option number 3 is world's easiest nutrition plan. So, this one works really well because it only requires that you follow a few rules. And I'm gonna make this very short. I don't want this video to be too long. The rules are simple. Rule number 1 is throughout your day, you're going to eat lean protein and leafy greens. Okay? Now, I say leafy greens because those are the best, but basically any green works, okay? Lean protein. Lean proteins are your white meats, your chickens, your turkeys, your cod, your tilapia. By the way, you should always have cod over tilapia. Tilapia is like a bottom-eating fish, or like eats other fish's poop, so it's not the healthiest. So cod is better than tilapia. What else? Shrimp, stuff like that. So we're looking at chicken, turkey, shrimp, cod, tilapia. Do eggs count? Like, yeah. Okay. Etc. Okay. And then you guys know what greens are. If it's green, it counts. Okay. You do things like broccoli, green beans, Brussels sprouts. Okay. Cucumbers, spinach, etc. Okay, so rule number 1 is eat throughout your day. Okay, throughout the day, as many times as you want, you're gonna eat lean protein and leafy greens or greens. And people say, first thing they say, well, how much? How much protein, how much greens should I have? Here's the answer. This is why it's so easy. As much as you want, as much as you can freaking eat. Here's the reason. Because protein, right? Protein cannot, does not, will not turn to fat. I mean, it can in extreme excess, but we're not getting deep into the science. We're keeping this simple, right? Your protein is there to add amino acids to the muscles, and when you eat protein, animal meat protein, like this, okay, then your body has to synthesize that protein, burns tons of calories. So the more protein you eat, the more calories you burn, and you add amino acids for the muscles that you're looking for, and then plus protein keeps you nice and satiated, so you feel full, you feel good throughout the day. Here's the reason why greens are important. Obviously, they're healthy, they have vitamins, they have fiber, but here's the thing. Since your goal is to burn body fat, right, we want to be in a calorie deficit, which means you need to consume less calories than the amount of calories your body burns in a day, okay? Or you need to burn more calories than the amount of calories you eat in a day. So, let me break this down to you. We often use a cup of rice as an example. A cup of rice is not a super unhealthy food, right? Rice is not that unhealthy, but it is a carb, it's a sugar. Okay, now a cup of rice, not a lot of food. I remember when I used to eat rice, I'm probably gonna have more than a cup, right? But anyways, think about this. A cup of rice has about 200 calories, okay? And people ask, oh, is that white rice or brown rice? Guys, it doesn't matter. You're splitting hairs. Rice is rice, okay? Now, the average person, if you ran 1 mile hard, you might burn 100 calories. Which means just to break even with a cup of rice, you have to run 2 miles hard just to break even. You're not even at calorie deficit yet. Does that make sense? So what's easier, not eating the cup of rice or running 2 miles freaking hard? Obviously, it's not eating the cup of rice, but we don't want to starve. We're not in a diet. Nobody likes to restrict food. So guess what? Let's take spinach. Take a cup of spinach, same amount of food. Take as much spinach as you can and jam it into a cup. How many calories do you think are in a cup of spinach? Wrong. 7. 7 calories. So do you understand do you know how many cups of spinach you would have to eat to get 200? Guys, you couldn't do it. You could not possibly eat that much. That's why there's no restriction on greens, because they are so, they are not calorie dense, right? So you just can't overeat them. Plus, they're not the type of starchy carb that's going to contribute to fat anyways. So the rule number 1, I hope that makes sense, is eat lean proteins and leafy greens throughout your day. Rule number 2. Rule number 2 is after post-resistance training, which means after you work out, whether you're lifting weights, pumping weights, doing high-intensity interval training, what have you, right? After an intense workout, post-resistance, so after a resistance training workout, resistance can come from gravity, from body weight, from weights, ideally, bungees, etc. Doesn't matter. But after a training session, you need to eat lean protein. You follow me? Leafy greens and a starchy carb. Bam! Right? Starchy carbs. The reason why you want to have your starchy carbs after post-resistance training is because carbohydrates, like sweet potatoes, pasta, rice, regular potatoes, etc. Carbohydrates like that are sugar, and sugar spikes your insulin. And we talked earlier about insulin is a very anabolic hormone, and when insulin gets spiked, that anabolic hormone is spiked in the body. And remember that the problem with insulin is that it's an indiscriminately anabolic hormone, which means an anabolic hormone, it encourages things to grow. So it can help your muscles grow bigger, but it can also help the fat cells you already do have grow bigger, and boom, split into more fat cells. And that's not what we want. So if you want to make sure when you spike your insulin, it helps contribute to building muscle, you want to do it after post-resistance training. If you spike your insulin when you're just sitting at your desk, when your muscles weren't just worked out and didn't achieve a high level of intensity, what do you think is going to grow? That's right, your fat, right? So we don't want that. So the game plan is throughout your day, I'm going to keep the frequency in which I spike my insulin very low. And after I train, I'm going to spike it then, where I can benefit from it the most and not have it contribute to gaining more body fat. Does that make sense, guys? Just want to make sure we're still rolling. Okay, this video is getting really long. Here's the last one. It's easy. Rule number 3. I'm just going to put it right here because it's a simple one. It's easy. And most of you, at least if you're following me, you're already doing this one. Easy. Drink a gallon of water a day. A gallon of H2O every single day, 128 ounces, guys. So this is called the world's simplest nutrition plan. Now the question is, well, what if it's not a training day? What if I'm not going to work out? Guys, if you're not going to work out, then you don't have the carbs. Remember, throughout your day, as many times as you eat, you should be having lean proteins. Doesn't matter what, doesn't matter how much, okay? Doesn't matter which or how much, excuse me. And leafy greens, doesn't matter which or how much. You cannot overeat those things, okay? Okay? Number two, if you're not training, then you don't need the carbohydrates. Remember, carbohydrates are sugars, and sugars are performance enhancing. If you're not gonna perform, then you don't need to enhance. Guys, people ask, well, where do I get my energy from? If I don't have carbs, I'm not gonna get energy. Raise your hand if your body has excess body fat that, let's call it a pantry. Raise your hand if your body has a pantry of excess energy it can go to utilize if you were devoid it of carbohydrates when it needs. Guys, I know I do. I have excess body fat, and guess what? When I don't give my body carbs, my body breaks that body fat down and uses it for energy, because that's what it stored there for in the first place. I hope this is making sense. Easy peasy. Lean proteins and greens throughout your day. Post-resistance training, lean protein, leafy greens, and add a starchy carbohydrate. Drink a gallon of water a day. If you're not working out, or you don't have any resistance training that day, then no carbohydrates. Okay, that's it, guys. That's called the world's easiest nutrition plan. So there you go. Those are the three, approaches to nutrition. Basically, in a nutshell, you need to pick which one works for you. Are you the type of person that's gonna follow that list, right, meticulously, shop in advance, cook, read it, measure everything out? Or are you gonna be the type of person that, this may be dangerous. Are you the type of person that can track all of their food and hold yourself accountable to poke everything into the MyFitnessPal app and make sure you meet these numbers? Cool. If not, okay, fine. Then obviously, maybe you should be taking advantage of the world's simplest nutrition plan, because guys, just like all nutrition plans or diets, right? They work. They work because they're typically low calorie, low carbs, and high in protein, okay? And that's it, guys. It's real simple stuff. I didn't invent this. This is just what works. So anyways, take a look at the three options. Decide what works best for you. Remember, there's no one right way. And maybe you think this way works. Good. Give it a try. And if you identify after a week or so it's too difficult for you to adhere to, or doesn't work for you, or maybe you just can't follow the rules, and then maybe you need to up the accountability, then maybe you bump up to a list. One of the lists, okay? Or if you try the list and you can't do the list and you're like, man, this doesn't work for me, man, try the app, okay? One of these three ways will work for you. You just gotta pick the right one for you. Anyways, guys, I'm Coach AB. Peace. Hope it makes sense to you.